The Honda Goldwing. What an amazing machine. What an engineering and technological marvel. I know I've loved mine for 3 years now, and if you own one, you know what I'm talking about. I know you love yours. Well, it's a little gloomy out today, so I thought it would be a good opportunity for some garage talk. So here we are today, and the topic for today is this amazing machine and how to maintain it, the best way to maintain it. Now, these bikes are incredibly complicated. They have more parts. There are more parts on this Honda Goldwing than there is in a Honda Civic, so I'm told. And I believe it. If you've ever dove into these bikes, there are parts everywhere. You know, as this video goes along, scrolling up on the side, you'll see part categories, and these are just categories. There are hundreds of parts in each of these things listed, scrolling up on the side, one side. Anyway, you know, a lot of the things that you might need to do on this motorcycle, just normal maintenance things, you can do yourself. But you got to be careful because there are, you know, things you can break, let's just say, if you're not knowledgeable or understand what you're getting into. And that's where I would like to introduce you to Cruiseman's maintenance videos. Some of you probably already own his videos, but it is a video series that has 90 plus videos in it. It's for the 2018 plus Honda Goldwing. You can play these videos on any device. You can play them on your computer, on your phone, on your tablet, on your smart TV. And when you sell the bike, the person who buys your bike someday can get a heavily discounted price, so it's semi-transferable, a heavily discounted price on the series as well. You know, the series is developed with a very consistent production. That means the colors are the same, the format is the same, the speaking is the same, the teaching is the same, the pointers and on-screen help is the same. It's very consistent throughout the 90 plus videos in this series program, in this series. And that's very helpful. That's very comforting, actually, when you go through them. You know what to expect. And why should you get this video series? You think about all of the labor you would spend at the dealership or anywhere else other than your garage on getting these things. Just getting the oil change could be $100 plus at a dealership. The air filter, which is deep inside this machine, that could be $350 to $400. It won't take you long at all to save the money that more than pays for this video series. The series is based on the Honda service manual for these bikes. Well, and by the way, did you know there's also a series for the 2001 to 2017 Honda Goldwings? If that's a year model that you own, there's a series for that as well. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I can find some of this stuff free on on YouTube, and yes, you can find some of these maintenance procedures free on YouTube video. But you know what? I've done that from time to time, specifically on the Bronco, and it seems like these amateur YouTube video creators, and I can say that because I'm kind of one of them, you know, they'll go through a process and they will leave out a step. And you're deep in the middle of something and they leave out a critical step and you have absolutely no idea what to do. I have been there a number of times. Like, why didn't you tell us this is what you got to do next? And it's not really their fault. They're so used to doing this. They're going through the motions and trying to teach you, and things that are inherent to them, just they pass right over it because it's like breathing to them. This may be your first time. It's not breathing to you. So Cruiseman's video series does a great job of covering every step in slow, clear language with on-screen pointers that show you exactly how to do things. He doesn't miss steps. I encourage you to go out and have a look and save some money, and get his videos. All right, let's talk for a minute about the man behind the mission here. You know him as Cruiseman. His real name is Chris, and he is a teacher at heart. He wants you to save money. There's no hidden agendas in these videos. He wants you to save money, and he's going to teach you how to do that. He's an honest guy. You know, I've known him for 3 years. And yes, we're friends. I'll tell you, I bought his video series before I had ever met him, because I'm a guy that does maintenance myself on my vehicles, always have been. And when I saw these videos, I immediately recognized the value. Well, he's a moral guy and a stand-up guy, and he's well-spoken and articulate. You're going to understand how to fix these bikes, how to maintain these bikes with these videos. He has opinions like all of us, but you know, he keeps them out of these videos. These videos are straightforward, unbiased, instructional videos. You can find his opinions on the entertainment videos in his YouTube channel. Please go check that out. They're humorous and give you a little insight into Chris, and they're funny to watch. But that's not on these instructional videos. These instructional videos are exactly what you're paying for. Calm, clear video and voice instructions on how to maintain these bikes and save money. You know, Chris is an excellent teacher. He does it so well. And yes, I've known him for 3 years now, and we've become close friends. We've gone on a few motorcycle rides across state lines. We've gone on multiple local motorcycle rides together. I have breakfast and coffee with him frequently. I've come to know him and know his background and know his character, and I am proud to call him friend. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about Chris and I both, when we were in Colorado, I interviewed Chris on the deck of my house there, and it was a very interesting video. Learn more about the man. I will put a link to that video right up here in the corner, so go check it out if you're so interested. But let's talk about these videos that I purchased before I ever met the guy and how they have helped me save money. Now think, as I go through this list, of all of the labor hours I would have been charged by a dealership or whoever, and I was able to do it myself. Let's start by just talking about things that I remove off this bike. Things that, you know, when you're working on it, you got to take stuff off. You know, we jokingly call this thing wrapped in Tupperware. We'll call the plastic Tupperware. I do it all the time. Getting all the Tupperware off is a trick. Because let me tell you, there are tabs in places that if you don't pull the Tupperware the right way, you're going to break off a tab. Well, you learn where those tabs are and exactly how to pull this thing off through these videos. So let's talk about what he's helped me remove. The middle cowl. I can't tell you the number of times I've had to take off that middle cowl because I'm running electrical lines or something like that. Taken off 100 times. Lots of plastic tabs in there. The side covers down by the battery. You would think that's straightforward. There's grommets and stuff, but there's a trick to it because they you gotta twist them a little bit. He's helped me take those off. The side mirrors. I've had to take the side mirrors off a number of times to install blind spot detection, to install turn signals, other things. So these videos walked me through taking those mirrors off the bike, and then, by the way, taking the mirrors apart themselves, because in some of the things that I've had to do, I've had to disassemble the mirror assembly. He teaches you how to do that. The seat. He's taught me how to take off the seat. You would think that would be straightforward, but not necessarily. There's things you got to unplug. There's things you got to watch out for. Take off the seat, and oh, by the way, put it back on. And that includes the backrest, the passenger backrest. The front fender. I had this bike 3 weeks, and some guy backed into me in a parking lot, broke my front fender, and I had to replace that front fender. Well, he helped me with instructional video on how to do that. Not difficult, but the video is there. Rear fender. Again, to install some things, I've had to take off the rear fender. The trunk lid. To install that Pathfinder spoiler, had to take off the trunk lid. To run some lines, I had to take off the trunk lid. That's kind of a complicated process, but it was super easy with his videos. The fog light assembly. I had to take the fog light assembly apart to get the cowl lights on. And then the windshield. Super easy to take on and off, but he walks you through and gives you a couple little secret tips when you're cleaning or removing that windshield that you may not already know. The inner cowl, inside here, the inner cowl. I've had to take that off a time or two. The lower cowl, I've had to take that off. When I was putting on the Traxxion Dynamics belly pan, I had to take the lower cowl off. Deflector panels, these wind deflector looking things on the side, the black things. I've had to take those off. Matter of fact, you got to take those off to get the inner cowl off. And then the center instrument cluster, how to take that off or move it out of the way if you're working on that. I had to do that when I was installing the Handlebar risers on the bike. So he taught me how to do that through these videos. So those are just some of the things he's helped me take off of this bike. Now let's talk about some installation of things. And here's where we're really taking time and money at a dealership, okay? What has he helped me install on this bike? Well, he's helped me change the oil. That right there is $100+ at any dealership. Not that hard to do, but he walks you through every step and doesn't leave out anything. And he also teaches you how to check the oil. There's a trick to that. Adjust the parking brake. These damn parking brakes. Good God. They're run by cable, and that cable needs tightening and adjusting constantly. And then once it gets adjusted too far, you got to then go to the back wheel and adjust it back there where the caliper is. He walks you through how to do all of that. Luckily, however, he also helped me install the new bullet brake, and guess what? That's an amazing product. I don't use the parking brake anymore. I use the bullet brake, so I won't have to adjust the cable anymore. But if you don't have the bullet brake, yes, you're going to need to adjust that parking brake cable if you have a DCT. Remind you that if you don't have a DCT, if you have a 6-speed, well, there's no need for a parking brake because you can just simply put it in gear and turn the bike off. But with a DCT, when you turn the bike off, it automatically goes in neutral. Actually, you're supposed to put it in neutral before you turn the bike off, but it stays in neutral. And if you don't put it there yourself, it will go into neutral automatically when you turn the bike off. And then that bike is free rolling at that point. So you need some kind of brake. He taught me how to install these lower cowl lights. I love these things. They are bright. They're wonderful, great lights. Walked me through installing those. He walked me through installing the Pathfinder LED spoiler on the back of my bike. Chrome colored, matched the bike. I love it, but you have to take off your trunk lid and, oh my gosh, do a little drilling, okay, into the trunk lid. But it's not tough, and his video series walked me through that whole process. The Pathfinder Power Distribution Hub, a relatively new product, which is great, allows you to tie in a lot of lighting accessories into one place under your seat. These turn signals, daytime running lights, and integrated daytime running lights and turn signals. The stock version of these is just turn signals. But now this set I put in have integrated daytime running lights, and they're white, and they match the bike, and they match these, I call them eyebrow lights that I put on. Anyway, he has videos about how to install those. How to initiate the DCT transmission. If you have a DCT, occasionally, like if you have to disconnect the battery or some other reason, you will have to, once in a while, reinitialize that DCT. Think of it as a factory reboot for the DCT, and there's a process to do that. Well, he has a video on how to do that. It's not hard, but it's necessary from time to time. And then Smart Key. The Smart Key, how to turn it off and on, how to program it, how to replace the battery. Do you know how to replace the battery in that smart key? Yeah, there's a little bit of a trick to it, but there's a video about that in this series. You know, I'm also looking forward to, now I haven't had the bike long enough, had the bike for 3 years. I haven't had the bike long enough yet to change the brake pads, but I think that's coming soon on this bike, I can tell. And then changing the air filter. You know, Honda recommends, I think, changing it at 16,000 miles. To me, that's crazy. I'm not changing it till 25 or more thousand miles. But there will come a day where I have to do that. And let me tell you, one of the most complicated processes of a maintenance item on this bike is getting to that air filter. Watch any video, you'll understand what I'm talking about, or maybe you've done it yourself. Well, I'm looking forward to going through his video and that step by step, so I can do it myself and save $300 to $400 from a dealership doing it. All right, so don't take my word for it. Ask anybody who's purchased these videos about how they feel about the value of the videos. I know I have saved multiple times what I paid for them, and they are so helpful and clear and easy to follow. Thank you, Chris, for putting these together. All right, in bike news, what's going on? Well, let's see. Remember in my last video I talked about the biker locally here who went down. He is okay. That's the great news. But I think, unfortunately, the bike is totaled. That's the sad news. Anyway, I'm glad he's okay. The Grand Tour of Texas is coming up. Late February here is when everybody gets their placards, and there is a group, I think it's actually next weekend, a group of guys, you know some of them, Road Glide, Tom Miller, Lone Star, Texas Lone Star, Texas, oh crap, the Lone Star Ridecast. Why is that so hard for me to remember? Richard with the Lone Star Ridecast. Well, that group of guys are going to head out and go pick up their placard rather than having their placard mailed to them, and maybe catch a few of the stops along the way for the tour while they do it. So I wish those guys safe travels and good luck. What a fun trip that's going to be. So you guys look forward to some of that. Also, Goldwings and Glizzies out in Tennessee at Southern Honda Power Sports. It's a big event they have every year, drawing names like Sensei, and of course Cruiseman's going to be there. I'm going to try to make that trip this year, so you guys might see some videos in late March, early April from that trip out to Tennessee. And while I'm out there, of course I'm going to see some friends. Mac with Gold Rider 1. Slappy, I hope I get to see you, Slappy, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. If I have time and I'm out there, my gosh, I have to do the dragon. I got to do the dragon. I know that people do it all the time, say, yeah, it's okay, but I got to do it. I don't know. We'll see if we can fit that in. So that's coming up too. Listen, that's about all I have for this week, guys. Thank you for joining me for this little garage talk. The rain is starting. Man, temperature's okay though. But I've enjoyed having the chat with you, and I thank you for coming back and watching me every week. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you again next week, my friends, and until then, y'all ride safe, and God bless.